Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show with our host, Bill Shelton. Join us each week as we explore the courses, the people, and the events that shape our great game.
We're at the Stonehenge Golf Course near Battle Creek, Michigan today for the 2001 summer meeting of the Michigan Golf Course Owners Association, and we have two very special guests. The name Scott is very familiar to many people who play golf in the state of Michigan. The Scott family owns a complex up at near Battle Creek, Gull Lake View courses, Stonehenge 2 courses, Bedford Valley, and I'm talking to two members of that family, Jim Scott and Charlie Scott. Jim, tell us a little bit how the family got started in the golf resort business.
Well, my father was in the golf business starting back in 1939, working at the Ottawa Golf Course, which is now gone. Spent a hitch in World War II and came back, and they offered him the head job at Gull Lake Country Club as the greenskeeper. And he was there for about 25 years. We were born and raised in his house between the third green and the fourth tee. And so we really kind of was born into the golf business. And he always had a dream to own his own golf course. And so in about 1957 or 58, he bought a piece of land at the south end of Gull Lake with the plans of building a golf course. One of the members at the club decided that Darrell was a good risk and joined them, and he brought the capital and Darrell brought the know-how, and they started building a golf course in 1963. We opened the first 9 holes at Gull Lake View. In 1965 we opened the second 9 in the clubhouse, and we might say we were in the full-fledged golf course business after that.
Now you also have some lodging facilities attached to the complex. When did you bring that in? Well,
after my parents had bought the piece of ground in the south end of Gull Lake, a guy came by one day and wanted to buy the corner on the M89, and they said, well, what do you want it for? And he says, I want to build a motel. They were entrepreneurs. They started thinking about it. They said, that sounds like a good idea. We're going to keep it and build it ourselves. So we built a 12-room motel about the same time we were building the golf course. And we opened 9 holes. People started showing up, staying in the motel, playing golf on the weekends, and turned it into kind of a destination, and it just grew from there. So we actually sold the motel in about 1971 to finance buying my dad's partner out at that time. He wanted to move his family to Florida. So we sold the motel and bought him out. A couple of years later, we built the East Course, and the motel, the guy that owned the motel, wasn't interested in expanding. We had a lot of people that wanted to come and we didn't have room for, so we built the Fairway Villas on the East Course in 1977, opened those, and we've been in that portion of the business ever since.
Well, Charlie, from one course, there are now 4 courses, I believe, and 3 of those courses you were involved in designing, the East Course and then the Stonehenge, both courses here.
Right. We built the East Course in about 1973, and then operated that for about 10 years, and this became, with the villas, our business really grew, and so we decided that we needed to promote as much occupation in the villas as we could. We found this property over here, built this Stonehenge course in 1988 we started, and one of the pieces of property that we originally wanted to buy here wasn't available. Well, about 5 or 6 years after that, that became available, so then we decided to build the North Course at Stonehenge, and that was built in 1994. So
now you were the golf course designer of these courses.
Right. Yes, I worked for a construction company out of Chicago for about 6 or 7 years, traveled around the country, so by the time that my kids got old enough to go to school, I decided that we didn't want to travel anymore, so that was the time that we were ready to build the East Course. So I came back in 73 and built the East Course, designed and built the East Course, and then worked at building the South Course here at Stonehenge. And then in 94, when we started the North Course, my oldest son John, he also helped in the construction and design on this course here too.
There's another course that the Scott family owns, I believe, Bedford Valley in this area. Tell us a little bit about it.
Bedford Valley is a 60s course. It was built by Bill Mitchell, right? Bill Mitchell's out of New England, and he was one of the architects that started in the mid-50s with Robert Bruce Harris and Robert Trent Jones and those guys. It's a big golf course with big greens, big fairways. It hosted the Michigan Open for about 5 or 6 years back in the early 70s, and we purchased that about 12 years ago, and we've done a lot of improvements over there, and it's been an exceptional piece of property for us.
After this break, we'll be back with Jim and Charlie Scott.
Legends beckon me to follow in their steps through historic stands of towering pines among shimmering banks of heather. Visit www.michigan.org for information about Michigan golf packages and courses. Legends beckon me to play forever, and I follow them to Michigan.
Jim, the Scott family has been very involved in making Battle Creek a resort destination, and I know personally you've been involved. Tell us a little bit about the kinds of things that you do, and where do you draw the people who come to this area?
Well, we do a cooperative golf package program with our 5 golf courses and an additional 4 or 5 golf courses in this area, with about 8 lodging facilities in Battle Creek. And it's all coordinated through the Visitors Convention Bureau. And it works out great for us because we've got enough accommodations to probably fill up 2.5 of our 5 golf courses, and then with the Battle Creek involvement, it helps bring a lot more people to this area. It was historically just kind of a happenstance that it all developed, in that when we bought Bedford Valley, they were starting to do a program with the Stouffer's Hotel over there at the time, and we just expanded that into a lot more golf courses involvement and more hotels, and it's worked out great.
Do you have any future plans for further development of your organization's complex and golf courses?
Well, we don't have any hard drawings yet, but as we get more family members, you might say, involved, and if the right opportunities came along, I'm sure that we'd take serious looks at them. So,
Charlie, the development of a golf course, the design, the building, I understand has become a rather expensive venture. Do you see that this is continuing to escalate the cost of both building and maintaining golf courses?
I think so. I think that the property is becoming harder to find. You have a lot more regulations and permits that you have to draw. The expenses of construction have gone up. In the past few years, irrigation costs for supplies and material have gone up. It's not unusual now for golf courses to put in an irrigation system that costs $1 million to $1.5 million. So with the increasing cost and problems with availability for labor, I can see nothing but the cost of golf courses going higher and higher every year.
Well, we've had the opportunity to visit with Jim and Charlie Scott here at the Stonehenge Golf Course as we're participating in the 2001 summer meeting of the Michigan Golf Course Owners Association. Thank you guys for joining us and telling us a little bit about your operation.
thank you.
Thank you.